Success is not what you do or what plan you know and execute. It's who you are as a person. Do you actually understand who you are? Do you believe in yourself? Do you have the right attitude and the right mental perspective when it comes to things in business that go wrong? If something goes wrong in something that you were selling, or your business just literally blows up, is at the end of the road. Are you screwed? Okay, and a lot of people, they might run into some problems with their business, and instead of learning from it, they just come across to themselves as, hey, you did everything right. This guy screwed me. That business screwed me. This person over here did something bad to me. And just you apologetically tell yourself how you're right. And you never really learned anything from the situation. What can you gain experience-wise from the situation to where you can apply it next time and it don't happen again? Or a different way you could have approached it so it didn't occur in the first place. These are expensive lessons, but they're necessary lessons. This is how you learn in business. In business, you don't learn from textbooks. Being right all the time isn't the answer in business. In business, it is trial and error. It's learning from your mistakes. And he that doesn't fear failure can learn from failure. And you've probably heard of people who tell you, oh, that's a scam. You can't do that. Real estate doesn't work in that state. It's impossible. I heard this story where someone lost all their money doing this. Okay? And then that's some sort of apologetic reason why you can't do it. And of course, that's the end of the story, They think they're right. They think they know what is what with that type of business. And they know it's impossible to do, even though someone else is already doing it and they're making a lot of money. See what I mean? And the same is the case with online marketing. Sometimes you'll run into roadblocks and you'll start telling yourself, oh, it's not possible. It doesn't work. And instead of just facing the data and thinking outside the box and asking yourself, how can I make this work? You just tell yourself it doesn't work. And then you give a reason why you're right. And then you make all these reasons up in your mind as to why you are correct. And that's the end of the story. You know what you're talking about. Of course that doesn't work. Now, of course, obviously there are scams out there, don't get me wrong. But, sometimes people misunderstand a legitimate business opportunity as being a scam simply because they weren't prepared to do it properly and they didn't have any experience and they just gave up quickly. They gave up early. And of course, you'll find people, if you go on Google and just type in any word and the term scam after it, you're going to find someone who calls anything a scam. Ketchup is a scam. Whatever's a scam. Everything in the world's a scam. And obviously someone out there has made the argument why this or that is bad. Because they didn't want to deal with the situation or they really think something's wrong with it. But in many cases, it's your attitude and who you are. Who you are. You need to be a certain person to even pull it off. And maybe you're not that person. Maybe you're not that person that can think, how can I turn this into a positive experience? How can I learn from this loss? You have people like Robert Kiyosaki, who was at one time a millionaire when he was very young, and he had a Velcro wallet business, had made a lot of money, and his partners totally screwed him. He had a couple guys that he was doing a joint venture with, and they had friends that were investors in the company, and one of them was a CPA, and he was apparently he didn't believe in the vision anymore. And he told all his buddies, hey, this thing's going to go belly up. And then he gave all his friends back their money. Okay? So he didn't believe in the vision. And he didn't tell Robert Kiyosaki he was doing this. And Kiyosaki was out on some convention, trying to get more business, sort of a business convention. And he learns about it while he's there, that they have no more money, that all their seed money that they raised to manufacture more wallets to sell had already been given away. And he was already at that point broke. He was $1 million in debt at that point. So he went from a millionaire to someone $1 million in debt. Now, of course, you could just totally cave on this. You could say, hey, that guy screwed me. This guy screwed me. And then you could just wallow in this apologetic argumentation in your mind for the rest of your life. And then when you're 80 years old, keep telling this stupid story where, you know everything. I was a millionaire and I lost it all and it's a scam. You see what I mean? Or you can sit there and say, hey, what can I learn from this? How can I do it differently next time? How can I avoid this happening again to me? And of course, it's an extremely painful experience. I mean, imagine you were a millionaire and then you're $1 million in debt, and you have all lost all your seed money to manufacture a product to where you would make business. Not a good situation, right? So he went to start over, and he trusted someone in California. He moved from Hawaii to California to do some business. And he was going in with this one guy, and when he got there, he found out it already fell through. There was nothing to do. The business already caved. And he had already put all he had into it and had no money left. So he's now in California with, from what I understand, he had $50 to his name. Him and his wife, I think her name's Kim, were in California. They had $50 left, and they decided to rent a hotel room and buy a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken. Now, from what I understand, this was, if I recall correctly, he had already paid off the $1 million debt, and it took him actually quite a while. What he ended up doing is he actually had a lot of companies that owed him money and that were paying him in 30, 60, 90, 120 day periods of time. They would wait so long before they paid him, and he eventually turned around his business and sold it and got rid of it. I don't want to get into all that because it had to do with sort of his conscience, because he couldn't handle the fact of it being manufactured in the conditions it was being manufactured in. Of course, manufacturing was sent overseas, and it was done in these really bad conditions, and he went and saw the factories, and he just decided to sell the business because he couldn't stand being the person that would do this. He had people working in half floors. You have a 9-foot ceiling, 4.5-foot ceiling. People crunched over without even masks on, gluing Velcro wallets, sniffing it the whole time. He couldn't live with himself making money that way. So he sold that business, and he was basically broke, meaning he had no business left. He already sold it. He basically broke even. And that's when he did this new venture I was talking about, where he went to California, and he was down to his last $50. And he had decided he would not get a job. And he had not had a job forever already. And he refused to get a job, and he just refused to do it. He just stuck with the idea of doing business. And it was after that, shortly after that hotel experience where he spent his last $50 on a room and Kentucky Fried Chicken, it was some days later that his business started to take off again. So, that's the thing, if he can go from $1 million in debt to being today a multimillionaire, anyone can do it if they are the right person and they have the right mindset, and if you're not going to give up, and if you stay the course and believe in yourself and learn from bad experiences and turn around, because your knowledge and your experience is worth far more than your business. Okay, now if you had a business and it failed, the experience of that teaches you so many things that no one else could ever learn, to where you could turn around and do it again and do it right the second time around, where you could become a multi-millionaire. See what I mean? So this is the mentality you have to have in business. You have to be able to survive and to persist and to learn from your mistakes. You can't be always right. You can't. I mean, if you are the type of person that has to always be right, you're going to be the one that's, grumbling about why this guy and that guy stiffed you and did this to you and how that business is a scam. That's the type of person you'll become. Or you could become the person who learns from this and improves, and at one point in the near future makes a very successful business.